get started. As I'm talking, please ask whatever questions you have, any scenarios, and we'll kind of go over it. So this is Greensheets. So what Greensheet is basically after you finish the title company, you get your commission check. You'll bring that commission check here to KW, and your Greensheet is going to tell us how to pay. So as you have a team, you may have a split where a buyer's agent's getting paid on that as well, but it's also going to take out Keller Williams portion, KWRI portion, and then your net check. And if you have any sort of deductions or if you're donating to KW Cares or Springfield Cares, that will also be in there. So there are two ways to access Greensheets. The first way will be through your My KW. So under your My KW, over here under Technology, there is a tab called Greensheet. If you click on this, this will bring you to the main Greensheet page, and then you'll create a Greensheet up here, at the very top. This way it's pretty easy to get to. However, you can also go through Dotloop, which is like our DocuSign program, SkySlope, whatever you use. And that's probably going to be the easiest way. But this is an easy way to go in and create a Greensheet. The other way, like I mentioned, is through Dotloop. So the reason I encourage using Dotloop is because you're already going to have to put in your address information, your buyer or seller information. And so this is just going to be easier because it's auto input all of that. So when you're creating a loop, so through Dotloop, this is where you'll put all of your contracts, submit it to compliance, all through there. So if we go to add a loop, this is going to be the very beginning of when we're starting. So your property address, say it's 1234 Main Street. And then we'll name it that. So as we go through, we're going to select what kind of template. So is this a listing or a buyer or an authorization to show? So I'm going to say we have the buy side. As we move through, we'll hit continue. We don't need to upload any pictures. If you want to upload a listing picture, you certainly can. It's not required. So we'll upload a listing picture. And so then it's going to go ahead and create our loop. So this is our loop. So once I open it, I'm going to hit view loop. And since I said it was a buyer, it's going to go ahead and pull in all of the buyer documents needed. So we went ahead and created templates, so for listing and buy side. And so it should have all the documents you need in there already. And then obviously they're blank, so you can go in and fill them in. Also, as you start getting this going a little bit better, you can go ahead and create templates that already has your specific information filled in. So that will be a really great time saver. So this is our loop. And at the very top, right under the address, it says View Details. If we click View Details, there is a Submit to Greensheet button at the top. So all the information that we've already input will be submitted to Greensheet. It's going to tell me So once we create a Greensheet, it's going to pull up this way. So if you're the listing agent, you'll hit the drop down and you'll say, yes, I am. If you're not, we'll say no. And in our scenario, we're going to say we're the buy side. So we'll say, no, I'm not the listing agent. This is a KW listing. So the reason I ask these two questions is if you're a listing agent, awesome. But if you're also a KW listing, then it's going to pull through the Keller Williams listing service that has all that information already listed. If it's not, you can go ahead and click no, and since we are the buy side, we'll hit no. So here's all the information. So anything in red is going to be required through the Greensheet. So the first thing it's going to ask is what type of property is it? Is it residential or commercial? So you'll just hit residential. And then we'll ask for the contract date. So as soon as you write an offer for a contract, within 4 business days, we ask that you go ahead and create a Greensheet. That way, if there's any corrections, we can always go back and change it. If there's anything with concessions and it changes the sales price, all of that, we can always go back and correct it. But this kind of helps us get it on our books saying, okay, this is what we're projecting to come up. And then that way, if there's any issues arising, we can always help out week for out. So I'm going to say we are the contract today with the closing date of next month. So then the next part in red is going to say what type of transaction is this? Is it the listing? Is this a buyer? Do you have both the list and buy side? Or is it an other? So if you have both sides, it would be both. Other would be if someone is sending you a referral. and you're getting a referral check, then other would be that option. So I'm going to say we're the buy side. And then it's going to ask for what kind of a sale is it? Is it a lease or is it a property or an other? We're going to say it's a property being sold. Then the next red blank says what kind of property is it? So we have the options of resale, new home, lot, farm and ranch, and lease. So I'm going to say this is a resale. And then we scroll down, there's only these red boxes we have to fill in. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, Main Street, Springfield, Missouri. Zip code, and what county it's in. Okay, so I filled in that information. If it's the list side, it will go ahead and auto pull in the MLS number for you. And then if you want, you can go ahead and include what subdivision is on, but it's not required.
So is that data that you can search later if you want, like it says buyer source?
Mm-hmm.
Is that good information to put in there or not really?
Not really yet, since all of the pieces aren't really, a lot of KW technology right now is more bolt-on, so it's not really talking to each other. But as we get command coming out, the opportunities is what they call Greensheets in there. It's all going to streamline through there. So
it's not a big deal.
No, it's not right now. So the next questions in red are you enrolled in the productivity coaching program? It's either a yes or no question, so we'll put in no. It's going to ask who the agent on the other side of this transaction was. So it could be a KW agent, whoever it was. So I'll just put Dan, and then what company they're with, and then the phone number. So if you're ever out and about meeting other agents and you think they'd be a great fit for KW, this would be a great way to let us know that Travis should have a conversation with them about Keller Williams. Also, if there's any other questions about the transaction, we know who the other agent is on the other side. So we have their information. So we filled out all the boxes in red in this section. So we're just going to hit next section at the bottom. And it's going to take us to the price, commission, earnest, and escrow. So it's going to ask us what was the sale price of this property. So I'm going to say it's $200,000. And then it's going to ask me if it's a percentage of commission or a flat fee. I'll say percentage. And since I'm only the buy side, it should only pop up with sale commission. Now, if you're both, it would have a box for listing and a box for sale. So we'll put in what percentage this transaction had. And in this shaded box, it's not going to give you an option, but it's going to go ahead and auto-populate what 3% of $200,000 would be, which would be $6,000. So we filled out all of our boxes in red. So now we go to the next section. It's just going to ask who the buyer was. If it's a married couple, I would suggest putting the husband and wife name and their last name. So I'm going to put Mr. Buyer, and that's all the information we need to know. The next section is who was the seller. Seller. Okay, next section. The reason it's asking for the buyer information. Anytime you create the same property, say you have the list side and the contract fell through, you would then have to create a new green sheet with that new information. If there was ever a change in the price, you wouldn't have to create a new green sheet, so you can just adjust that through .loop. But anytime it's a new contract on a property, it's a new green sheet. So now that we've filled in all the information, it's going to auto pull all of that in. So when we talk about columns, this is what we're talking about. So agent A, agent B, agent C, there's actually 27 columns if you need it. For some reason, apparently sometimes someone needed one of those within Keller Williams International, so that's the thing. So that's kind of funny. So it auto pulls my name in. If I was doing this screen sheet for someone else, I would just hit the magnifying glass and I could type in their last name and it would pull them up. So if I just put in, if I was doing this for Wes and I just typed in Linton, I could pull in him and I could put him on the green sheet by saying that, and it pulls his name through there. So if you ever have a buyer's agent, that would be another option as well. So then it's going to ask me what my role in the transaction was. So through the drop downs, it has buyer, individual agent, listing specialist, lead agent. It doesn't really matter what you label yourself at. You could be the lead agent in every column. It's not a criteria. It just has some sort of answer you need. So I can put I'm an individual agent. Then it's going to ask me if it's a buy or sale. We'll never use inside, so it's always buy side if I'm on this side. And then it's going to ask what kind of agency. Am I dual or am I buyer? So I'm the buy side selling one side of the deal. Now, if you click dual, just because you click dual doesn't necessarily mean that you put in this. So this right here will determine how many columns it's trying to syndicate to. So if I only put buyer on accident, but I then had both sides, I would have to create a column for both sides of the transaction. But if I only hit buyer, it's only going to allow me to use one. So even though since I'm buyer up here, I'll make sure I'm buyer right here. Now, if I wanted to be dual, because I'm double-sided, then I would need to make sure at the very top screen, I would do both listing and buyer. So as we go through and we put in the buyer, you can see the listing unit is shaded out because I don't have the listing side. But I do have the sales side, so it's going to ask what unit. So there's one full unit. And the reason it asks and it doesn't auto pull in one, sometimes teams like to split units. So sometimes the Rainmaker may take 0.5 and the other one may take 0.5. I don't recommend that. A lot of the people that do currently are doing it for easy math. So they believe if I put 0.5 here, it's going to auto-populate only half that commission. And then when I allocate it to this column, it'll put in that other half. But you can override that amount. So I would recommend, as the Rainmaker, you take the full unit. And if you have a buyer's agent, they can still receive commission without taking the unit. It's just part of being a Rainmaker. You can totally get that. So then it's going to automatically pull in from above, and that other page was $200,000 for the sales price. And then the commission price, it auto pulls that as well as $6,000. So it's pulling that. So the next question is there an outside referral percentage? So if you ever sent a referral out to somebody, this is where you would put it in. So if I'm going to send a 25% referral to someone else, it's going to say, okay, great, thanks for letting me know you have a referral. There's another box at the very bottom you're going to have to complete. So then it will go ahead and pull in that amount. But if I didn't have a referral, I can just backspace out of that and it will clear. We do not handle any market center approved concessions to buyer or seller. All that's done prior to closing. The bonus and admin fee. So the great thing about Keller Williams is that you can still charge a transaction fee, and that transaction fee will stay with you. Other brokerages, you may have to charge a transaction fee per transaction, and that goes back to the brokerage. So some agents here don't charge a transaction fee. Some agents do, and the reason they do that is if they have an admin, that helps offset that cost that they are paying to the admin to help keep the paperwork. So you can set the transaction fee if you have one. If you do, then you would just put it right here in the bonus or admin fee. So let's say I had a transaction fee of $250. So that pulls through there. The next question is going to be, are you splitting with the market center or 100% is going to the agent? So I know all of you actually are cap managing here, so you would be 100% to the agent. However, if I was a new agent or not cap managed right now and I'm paying the company $1, I would just click split with the agent. And they would ask me what my split was, so I would put 70. Since you are 100% to the agent, you would put 100%, and in this box you would just put 100, and it will pull that through. So it's kind of interesting. You have to put in the box and then in that other box, but just doesn't work. So let's say 100% is going to myself, so then it will pull in there. Even though I may be cap managed like all of you right now, however, I still have to pay in royalty right away. So then it's going to say, are you capped on royalty, yes or no? And I'm going to say no, I'm not capped on royalty. So then it's going to pull that $375 shaded out of my commission check. So then we have our total sum of my commission check with the $250 transaction fee is going to be $5,875. So our next options are, even though it's in red, we still have to answer. So this automatically is going to say 10. If you do not want to donate to KW Cares, you can just put a 0. So what Keller Williams Cares is, it's a nonprofit for KW agents. So any agent that's facing a hardship, what you can do is you can submit an application to receive a grant from them. So we've had agents submit applications for if they've had cancer, or we had an agent whose house caught on fire, any sort of hardship you're facing that you cannot cover financially yourself, you can ask Keller Williams International to submit some money for you. So this money donated goes into that fund to help all of our agents worldwide. I know this was a big helpful resource whenever the hurricanes hit on the East Coast. They took truckloads actually of stuff out there for them. The next option is KW Kids Can. So this is another tax deductible donation. So what it is Gary Keller's Quantum Leap. So they have Keller Williams trained instructors go around the United States teaching his Quantum Leap class between the 18 and 24-year-olds, teaching them how to become leaders, how to empower them to become our next generation. So again, if you don't want to donate, you put 0. The next is Bold. So we have Bold here at our own market center, but this is Bold for Keller Williams International. So they give out about maybe 15 sponsorships each Bold session to other agents that apply for them. Bless you. So by donating to this means this to Keller Williams as a whole as well. Again, you are not required to donate if you do not want to. And please, by no means am I trying to push this on you. Just want to let you know what it is. So the next option is buyer's home warranty. We do not handle. That's all done before closing. Agent confession to buyer and seller is all done before closing. The next one is some other options. There's other deductions, and then there we have some custom deductions. So the custom deductions are if you want to apply money towards your agent billing that you have every month. So we have some agents every closing, they take $75 out and they apply it to their agent billing. The next is to Red Day. So as you know, we have Red Day coming up. This is to help raise money for that. So this year we are doing Eden's Village, and we are building an enterprise center for the guests that live at Eden Village. It's permanent housing for homeless people in here in Springfield, and they're actually working on a next home division. And the last is Springfield Cares. So Springfield Cares is just like KW Cares, but it's money that we raise right here for our agents here. We actually did a golf tournament last year, and we were able to help support 4 different agents that were suffering hardship. So if you want to donate any to that, you can definitely put it into there. Other deductions are if you're saving for family reunion. So we have family reunion every February. It is a large expense. So we have agents that take a certain amount of money out of every closing to put into a fund, a liability fund that we have to help save that money aside for family reunion.
So then if you wanted to just go over and get a check in?
Yep. So what you would do is you would just say, hey, Rachel, I want whatever's in my account, or what's my balance? Because I email it at the end of every transmittal, like this is the money you put in this month, this is money you've taken out, and this is your remaining balance. You can just say, hey, I want a check for $2,500, and I'll just cut you a check and I'll be ready right then. So this will be a way if you want to start putting money aside, you can totally do that. So you would just put up in here family reunion, and then you just put whatever amount you want to put in. Sometimes people do percentage, or sometimes people just put a regular amount. So you can just put family reunion 1,500, and we know to put that aside for you. So after I put in all of those deductions, if I had any, in the shaded, it's going to tell me what my net agent check is. So my net agent check is going to be $4,375. So that's the family reunion deduction and our transaction fee as well, and not being capped on royalty. So if you agree with this, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll to the bottom and you're going to click submit to the NCA. So when you click submit to the NCA, you're going to get, this next box, and what you have to do is you just click submit green sheet and it will submit it right to us. And we go in every day and we take these green sheets and we put them into our system, and we use that and we create a disbursement authorization that we put into that blue of yours. So with that, since the green sheet is required in your loop, so what we do is we take a printable view right here and we just save this as so when you hit printable view, it will give you all of this information in a sheet. Save it as a PDF and upload it into your for compliance. So let me see if I can. There's my fake group I created. Let me pull up. So I'm going to pull up what a loop looks like currently. So this is a disbursement authorization. So once we take your green sheet, we convert it into our system, and we put this disbursement authorization form into your loop. So basically what it says is it's telling us the property address, who the buyer, seller are. It's going to tell us what the sales price is and the commission amount. So we'll take the closing check and we'll make sure that this commission amount matches the closing check. And right below it will say Greater Springfield Realty gets this much money, and then your name, you'll get this much money. Now, if you had a deduction in there or a family reunion, it would also state that in there as well. And whenever we create these, we just add a signature block that notifies you that it's in your loop for you to sign off and say, yep, I agree with that. So like we mentioned, if there's changes to the contract sales price commission and it's still the same contract, you will actually edit your green sheet in your loop. So here you see they have a printable green sheet in our loop. If the commission price had changed by any sort amount, what you would do is you would go into your loop and you would just add text boxes over the amounts that needed updated. And you would just let us know that, hey, I revised this is the new amount, and this is how it's going to get paid out here. So I would just take it and I would just put it over there, and I would just put in what needs to go. Just hit save. And then outside in your loop where you can see here, you can actually rename these so we know that it is revised. So I just put revised in all capital letters to let me know that there has been a change made in that year. Does that all make sense?
We put a green sheet in when we have a new listing. So to put my listing up, I have to do the green sheet.
Nope, you should do it until it's under contract. Yep. So for your listing, you'll put that through the Keller Williams listing service, and then you'll add it to Flex and all of that, and then that will prompt us. But then whenever you have a contract, that's when you'll create a green sheet. Yeah, great question. Any question?
Yes, but this, we don't have to fill this out until we have the contract.
Correct. So 4 days after you write a contract, that's when you complete it. And once you get to that point, I know it's kind of makes sense now, but when you get to it, you're like, oh no, what do I do here?
Do you have people say for tax, as far as taking deductions, pay for their taxes?
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that would be the idea, just take 25% or whatever.
Yeah, so the family reunion account, some agents do use it as a tax savings account as well. So we have people that list family reunion, tax savings, and we just know to put it in that liability account. And it's whatever percentage you're working off of, you just let us know the amount and just put in that deductions box and say tax savings.
Like a credit.
Yeah. And then you can just let us know whenever you want it back. Obviously, the intent of the account at the beginning was to save for family reunion. However, we know things come up and sometimes you're like, well, I can't go anymore. And it's not like we're going to keep that money. We're going to give it back to you so that other people for taxes. And we clear that account out December 31st. So all of that money in there will give back to you, and then you can restart in January again. Yeah, great question. But yeah, I recommend if you're not going to use this way of saving taxes, have some sort of other account for tax savings. So we know it's never fun. So in your instance, when you have buyer's agents on your team and you're paying them out, you'll just give them another column. So you can just search their name and add it to this, and you just give them whatever split you're trying to give them.
So if you give, again, an admin, a flat fee,
Mm-hmm.
do a row for them, a buyer's agent, do a row for them.
Yeah, so if they're licensed, yes. If they're not licensed, we can't pay them out.
Okay.
So you'll have to set up through your payroll company, but if they are licensed, yes, you can give them a column right here or your buyer's agent. So for instance, say, so Wes with that column, I'll take it in a second. So I would just go in and search my name, and I would add it. And I would say, again, it doesn't matter what I call myself, individual agent, the buyer sale, and then this is the buyer. So since I already gave Wes the whole unit, I would just put in 0. And then it's going to ask for the commission. So again, it's going to auto-populate since he got the full unit, but I can go in and I can just adjust it. So that will change his numbers, and then I'll just give myself half as well, or whatever your splits are, and it'll work the same way down. Yeah, that's definitely what you do. And so then if you have multiple buyer's agents and they're all getting some split, we have to use. So you click page 2, and there's more columns, and then page 3, there's more columns, and so however many columns you need. I haven't seen more than 7 since I've been here, but I have seen 7 Well, and some of the reason is for profit sharing purposes. So for you guys,
I'm gonna pay the team members.
okay,
So since I've got 8 for me, it'll all be me, and then I'll just write the check, I'll just pay my.
yep, and that's perfect how you can do that. And then who, are you running the production through Stacy, right? Running the, okay, so for profit sharing purposes, at some point in time, if you're running the production through one of them, both of you will have to have a column. Because say Stacy is your sponsor, so every time you would produce, she would receive profit share. But since she's getting all the units, or say
You're gonna find this hard to believe, but I do very little real estate.
okay, no, and that's perfect. So we have a lot of married couples, because obviously Keller Williams is a great place for married couples since it's shared cap. If you're gonna run the production through her, so let's just say, really bad example, say Wes and I are married, and we're running all the production through him, but yet he's my sponsor, so I'm gonna receive profit share. He wants to receive profit share off of me. I would give him all the units, but 0 commission. So he can have all the units, but then I would take 0 units and all the commission. So he would still receive profit share off of me, yet the production for the units and volume sold would be ran under him.
I'm gonna be asking you about that.
No, please do, please do.
This is not gonna be the last time.
No, and like I said, any point in time if you guys have questions, I know it's kind of confusing here, and once you get to it, it's gonna be very confusing. Call me, email me, text me, whatever you need, and I can definitely help you out. Yeah, but we wanna make sure that you're receiving profit shares the best we can, and we're helping you however you want your volume and units to be shown. Yeah. So yeah, so that's just kind of an overview of Greensheets. Anybody have any questions over it? No? Lisa, you feel good? Okay, great. Okay. Stacey, you feel good?
I feel good, and maybe this is more of a dot loop question.
Okay.
So say you're working a transaction with another Keller Williams agent, and you go into your dot loop, you already see a file that's been created because they were the listing agent.
That's a great question.
And you're a buyer's agent. What is that? I mean, is there any difference with?
So yeah, so that's a great question. So you'll create your own loop still, because it's still going to be your file, because technically you're receiving your own separate commission check. So therefore, you would create your own green sheet for your side, and the list side will create their own green sheet for their side. That's a great question. Yeah, so whenever we get the check, and whenever you send it in, we'll look for your specific loop under that address, and we'll look for your specific green sheet to make sure that it's matching. Because the other side, for instance, the list side may have a transaction fee and you don't. Some title companies, they do put both sides, if it's both Keller Williams, they will put it into one check. And that's fine too. We'll just look into each loop and make sure that those totals do balance the commission check. Yeah, that's a great question. Because we do see that a lot. Yeah, but whatever contract you're working on, you'll have your own information. Yeah. And then say another Keller Williams agent is kind of helping you out and you kind of want to give a referral fee, you would just give them another column. You wouldn't put an outside referral. Since they are with our brokerage, you would just give them a column so they can pay their respective splits, and we'll kind of check that. Yeah. Perfect. And then as we go along through compliance, so through your dot loop, as you have all these documents, you'll submit them for compliance. So on that booklet, it kind of shows the documents needed. And what you'll do is you'll just highlight whatever or check mark whatever documents you're wanting to submit to compliance, and you just hit submit for review, right up here to the right. And anytime that there's any changes in this little chat box right here, they'll let you know what needs to be done. So for instance, data input needs begin and end date, thank you. And so at the very end, they'll say compliance review complete whenever everything's done. There are approved messages over to the side of these files letting you know that they have been approved. If anything was ever returned, it would say returned right here with the correction that you need to.
Question.
Yeah.
On these teams, is there an administrative person in the office that still has the green sheet, or does each individual agent fill their own green sheet out?
Normally it's one person. So the agent would come back to your admin and say, okay, this went under the contract for this amount, and then if you have any special splits, you let them know, but if not, this is what it is, and they fill it out. The agents aren't creating their own. It's normally one admin, so for these large teams, I know my point of contact is normally the admin, because the agent normally is like, I have no idea.
That would be me.
Yeah,
That
so,
would be me.
yeah, so I would just be your direct contact, and then if you ever had any questions for compliance, they're very helpful. They are a third party, so it is a 24-hour turnaround. So I would recommend as soon as you put some documents in there, go ahead and submit it. You can submit it as many times as you want. Overload them, that's perfectly fine. That's what we pay them to do. And I'd rather have them look at your documents 10 times and have your file ready for whenever you have your commission check than submitting it and having to wait another 24 hours to get it. But if at any point in time you don't know what you need or you're lost, just respond and just ask, what am I needing to do? I'm not understanding what you're saying. Or if you have a special instance when maybe it's not on the MLS and it needs special documentation, let them know. And they're more than welcome to help. But if you ever do see a loop not being approved within that 24-hour range, please let me know, because then I'll let them know to review it right away. But yeah, that's a great question. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, if you don't have my cell phone number, I can give you my card. It's downstairs, and I can give that to you. Call, email, text, whatever you need to do as we go through this process. I just want to make this as easy for you as it can be. So, and since you all have done compliance, we don't have to go over the compliance portion, or we can, it doesn't matter. It's pretty straightforward of what you're doing. There are a couple documents that are specific to KW, and I can go over those really quick if we need to. So,
For one business disclosure, if there's nobody on that list that I'm going to
the affiliated business, yeah.
do I still have to give it to him, I have to sign it and so on?
Yes, because you have to let them know that Keller Williams as a whole has a relationship with them, so we do have a vendor program. And some of these vendors are paying in money, so it's just letting them know that Keller Williams may have a relationship, but you may have your own special relationship, and you can let them know who they are. Yeah, just Keller Williams as a whole. That's a great question. Do the checklist, so it's obviously, so the Missouri Broker Disclosure Form, a little bit through at the very beginning, it looks like this form right here. So what we do, there's nowhere for signature on this form, so what we ask is that you just have your client's initial at the bottom right of the form. So just so they are aware and we can see that you have presented this to your clients. Right there, yep. So we just ask that you have your client's initial at the bottom right of each of this. So it's a 2-page document. So just have an initial at the bottom right of each page, just so we know that they've seen that. So that's a great one to point out.
With the buyer's walkthrough, I'm actually going to do that.
Okay.
Which was a good idea too.
Yeah.
So that sometimes is morning of, so like go to closing and submit it.
Yeah.
Does that delay everything for 24 hours?
The final walkthrough, no, as long as you can have them sign it at some point in time. It is required for compliance, and at one point in time, we've gotten much more strict on it, I would say, because we actually had an agent come back and say, oh, I submitted this, but I actually never got them to sign it, and so we just want to make sure that we're getting that covered. Yeah. And then the HSA application. So if you turn to the very back of your packet, should be the maybe here. Yeah, so the HSA application. So George Brockman, who is our home warranty HSA rep, he is a great resource to really talk to and find out more information. So this is a form that is required regardless if they want a home warranty or not. So the form, all that's needed is the property address right up here. You can kind of see in the highlight just information of property address, city, state, zip. And the bottom right, you can see there's 2 boxes. So if they want the HSA home warranty, they just need to sign and you can fill everything out. If they don't want it, they still have to sign that very bottom box saying they're waiting to receive a home warranty. So they just need the property address, and if they don't want it, then they would just sign at the very bottom right saying, no, thank you. What's great about one of these home warranties, and again, you can talk to George to find out more, but even if your property is under contract and it's solicited, it's still covered during that time until it's sold. So that's a great option for your sellers.
Home warranty's a big deal, Springfield.
It is.
I've only had one, I've been in business since '04.
Really?
I had
Okay.
one home warranty,
Yeah,
so this is wasting my time.
yeah, that's interesting. Okay,
And I bought
really?
it at a brand new home builder, and I didn't like what I was seeing, and I bought a home warranty.
Yeah, the reason we require this is because they are one of our premium sponsors within Keller Williams. So they just have to sign off on it. Agreement. I would maybe talk to Jim and Travis if you have something different, since out in your area it may be a little different. You just talk with them. But those are really the only specific documents to Keller Williams. Again, if you go through compliance and you're not sure why, just let us know. And we can definitely help you out there.
And then, did I read somewhere you can send these through .loop now and they'll get set up for you? Or do you need to call in?
I did see that George posted something on the internal page. I haven't talked to him in person to figure out what that is, but I'll find more information out. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Do you guys have any other questions? No? Okay. Well, please feel free to let me know if you guys do ever need anything. We're always here for a resource. We're so glad to have you all. It's an exciting time.
Thank you.